Welcome to another Mario Party 7 minigame review.
Last time, we reviewed Balloonatic, and it was pretty good. It got to the 4-star category, the first one so far, and pushing its average back to a 3. Thank you, Balloonatic. You did your job. And today, we got another minigame, that being the free-for-all mic minigame, Balloon Busters. So let's get to the review, shall we?
So here's how I play this minigame. You and the other 3 players are in a center where you just pop balloons. Basically, in the center is one big balloon that you have to inflate constantly. You could choose to make it bigger, or just stop and let the other players do the job as well. And this is going to continue on until the balloon pops. The 3 that are in line basically lose, and basically that kind of says that, well, the person who is the one who popped it is the ultimate loser. However, it mostly just comes down to whoever's behind the barrier who wins. Yeah, so this minigame had so much potential on its hands. However, with one big flaw, it just falls so flat that I find it flat out embarrassing. And it's the fact that basically only one person can survive in the end, and it goes on for only one round. Because basically, the balloon just continuously gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it pops. And you don't know when it's going to pop. Although, you could easily use this to fool over the other players. You think you're going to go, like, only one that round and basically keep going. And you can either somewhat think that you can go more than once when it's that big. However, it still has one big luck element for the fact that since it just lasts only one round, and the fact that the player behind the barrier wins, that is just stupid. And just to let you know, that the top 100 did it better. It basically just devolves into the person who basically pops it each round is out, and it just keeps going on until one person's left. That's a way better way to do it. And basically, it basically makes the minigame, it could drag on for a bit longer. However, it feels much more fair. And also the fact that there's an element of skill if you want to keep blowing it up much and when you want to stop. That's pretty creative. Although with this one awful mechanic, it just screws itself so much over from being something that it could have been. And that's basically a problem we're going to be seeing with more minigames later on. Just like we did in 6. Anyways, let's get to the overall review, shall we?
Overall, Balloon Busters is pretty much just one big wreck-up, because basically, it has the potential to be such a great minigame, however, it just completely falls flat. For one reason, it basically goes until the balloon pops, and basically that all 3 players that are in the lineup, they all get out at once. And you know what I would think would be a better idea? Just basically have it be one getting out each round and going until there's one person left. That is a much better solution and was actually done in the top 100 of all things. And the fact that the top 100 can do better than you at a minigame that is pretty bad is kind of saying something. At least it keeps that level of suspense and you can at least try to mess around with your opponents. However, besides that, there really isn't too much to this minigame. I'm going to give it 2 stars. However, I'm being quite generous. And that's it for today. Up next, we're reviewing Bananas Faster. See you guys then.